This week we are going to start in on ArcGIS story maps, which is where we've been headed this semester. You can Google ArcGIS story maps, and you should be able to find the logon page, and then you will use your regular UAA ArcGIS online account to log in, and you'll see that they are completely linked to one another. If you click here, you would go and click here, you'd actually end up going back to your ArcGIS online account. And sometimes I've done that, found it a little bit confusing because there doesn't seem to be an immediate way to get right to story maps from your ArcGIS online account if you don't have a project already made. So sort of keep that in mind as you are tooling around here. There are a number of different ways that you can create stories. You can go to this story button right here, and if you expand this, you'll see that there is sort of a basic thing called Start from Scratch. We'll look at that a little bit more next week. There are a couple of quick starts. The quick starts are functions that you can do in the Start from Scratch if you want to, but they're good ways to sort of start getting used to how to get into and make an ArcGIS story map, so I'm going to look at those. A sidecar is the first thing we'll look at. The Guided Map Tour and the Explorer Map Tour have a lot of similarities to one another, but we'll ultimately look at both of these. So let's first click on to the sidecar that I've created right here. And actually, I already started this. The sidecar requires you to bring some sort of map in, which you will be adding to here. You'll see that when you're in the sidecar, there is a place to add a map, and I have brought in one of the trade maps that I previously did. This allows me to add a title, a subtitle, and essentially create a map app, except this can then be expanded to include all sorts of other content as well. All the story maps look the same. If you scroll down below the map that you are looking, you can see that you can continue your story and add new things like new maps and images and other sort of content. Things that, again, we'll be talking a little bit more about next week. For the time being, I just wanted to introduce these basic types of maps that are there. The sidecar allows you to bring one of your existing maps or someone else's map in, place it where you want it to, and then add text that you want to add to it as well, which I just have right here. When you are done working on a particular story map, you can go back to your stories and you can click on existing stories. And I have both an Explorer set up here and a guided map tour. It takes a little bit of time to sort of figure out how to do these, but not that much time. What this Explorer allows us to do is add points, and each of these points has text that is associated with it. Down below, we have sort of a view of what each of the points on the map tour look like, and we can simply add new slides to it, add a new location, and then go find the location where we want to put it, click on that, and go ahead and say add location, and now you'll see that we have 3 here, and we can go ahead and add whatever we want to about this. What that then allows us to do, so I'm just going to call it point 3, and say that's good. What that then allows us to do is scroll back and forth between each of these. And when it ultimately is published, you'll be able to click on one, then the other, and then the other. And each one of these will highlight some particular point that you want to look at. So this one is really particularly useful for highlighting particular places or particular points. And that's pretty much the same for the other one as well. This was the Explorer right here. But you'll see that the guided map tour works very much the same way. The difference with the guided map tour is that you can click on your slides over here, and you can move from one to another in this sort of point-by-point way right here. Also through scrolling, it allows you to do it as well. Same basic principle here. If you want to add a new point, you can click this new slide and do that. Another thing I wanted to show you, and you can do this on any of your story maps, is you can add something called an express map. So if we go to continue your story, which again we'll be talking more about next time, and add content block to it, you can go ahead and add a map. And this allows you to bring a map in, as I did for the sidebar before. So I can bring in one of these maps I've made, or you can make something called an express map. And the express map is an opportunity for you actually to put points, lines, and polygons using one of these scratch layers as you did in the very first map. So we can go ahead and add points. We can attach images to it and give it names. We can also draw polygons if we want to in an area. And again, add content to it. To finish it off, you have to double click one of the points. You could add an image to it, and a name and a description and things as well. And then you would be able to, once the map is active, to click on each of these things and go and look at those images. Ultimately, you will place the map by finding the position you want it to be in and hitting that place map. So all of these features that we've looked at right now, and I'm just going to cancel this right now, are what are referred to as sort of the immersive maps that are found in story maps. And I'd like you to experiment with these. For the purposes of the assignment, I want you to have at least 2 different types of these immersive maps working in the story map that you ultimately send to me for your assignment. Next week, we'll talk about adding other sorts of content, but this is where I'm going to stop for right now.